I'm Jose Palazzo for Divers for Sharks, and this, as you know, is our weekly Shark Rant. I'd like to thank Peter Hughes for this fantastic cap from Dive Encounters with the hammerhead shark from Willand. Pretty good one to use outside. You know, there are sometimes when important things for shark and marine conservation just go by kind of unnoticed, and that happened this last week with the agreement that the United Nations reached to work on the global treaty for the high seas. We all know that several countries are doing a lot of important work to protect sharks and marine wildlife in their waters, but if we continue to have unregulated and unrestricted fishing in international high seas waters, then the efforts by these countries are going to be stymied by that. The regional fisheries management organizations, or RFMOs, are as corrupt and inefficient as can be, with countries like China and Japan just weighing in and preventing these organizations from doing good for sustainable fishing in the high seas. So we do need an international conservation treaty for the marine areas beyond national jurisdiction. It's going to happen because now the UN finally agreed on it. A treaty is going to be drafted between now and 2018. It's a long time, but it's still better than nothing. And we have to be vigilant to make sure that our governments help provide the language and the agreements for this treaty, instead of just dragging their feet and boycotting everything, which is something that the United States and other countries like Iceland and Japan and even China were doing in the beginning of this process in the United Nations. So please keep an eye on what your government is doing in relation to this treaty for the high seas areas. That's really important for sharks and other marine wildlife. Also, you have heard me talk about what's happening with threatened and endangered species in Brazil, the fisheries mafia trying to get rid of legal protection for the most endangered species. I had the opportunity to be with the Brazilian Minister of the Environment for a couple of hours this week. She was really receptive to the idea that these species have more value than just being for fisheries. That, for instance, divers have to have a say in what's happening with the regulation to protect them. And we have been invited to be part of a working group that the Ministries of Fisheries and the Environment are establishing to revise and make a decision on the protection of endangered species. So good for us and good for all of you that helped us by signing the petition that went around to uphold the Brazilian regulation for endangered marine species. Thank you for that too. And to end with another good note for this week, we got a gift from one of the most esteemed and respected Brazilian cartoonists, Iotti, a great guy from southern Brazil, better known for his newspaper cartoons, but he also drew this for us, the SOS with different shark species that Divers for Sharks gonna start putting on our t-shirts. We also are gonna work on putting out an international sales scheme for t-shirts. Lots of you people have been bothering us why we're not selling t-shirts to other places than Brazil, and we're gonna be starting doing that from next week onwards. So next week I'm gonna have more news. Thank you for supporting us, and if you're still not a member of Divers for Sharks, why can't you? You know, we have a category which is the Wobbegong membership. It's just $1 per month, for Christ's sake. So instead of just watching us, do something to help us help sharks and become a member of Divers for Sharks. Thank you. See you next week.